Greetings, and thank you for taking a few minutes out of your busy day to join us for this discussion on how to get the most out of your inspection reports. My name is Bruce Robbins, but friends and family call me BW, and I hope you will too. We're here today for a couple of reasons. The first is to introduce ourselves and our company, and the other is to introduce some of you to a new software that we're using for our reports. I know some of you might have seen this software recently, but might not be familiar with all the features and benefits it offers. So I'd like to share with you a little about us, how our reports are different from many of our colleagues in the home inspection industry, how they stand up to TREC requirements, and finally how you might benefit from our reports. Wildcat Inspections is co-owned by my wife Joanne and I, and was born out of our building and remodeling company of many years called Wildcat Homes. Joanne and I were married in 1970, and we've worked together ever since. I began my construction career at age 12 when I went to work on a framing crew during summer breaks. I worked up through the ranks from subcontractor to superintendent, a construction manager, and in 1985, Joanne and I began our first building company. Together, we've built over 750 new dwellings and remodeled more. You might remember that the decade between 1995 and 2000 was one of those turbulent eras when the economy was acting kind of crazy, sort of like today. And we wanted a business that could offset the home building roller coaster and provide an alternate income source. At last count, we've inspected over 11,600 homes. Although we travel all over the state, and county especially, most of our work has been in the NASA, Pearland, Friendswood areas. We moved north in 2017, where we plan to work until we retire in a few years. Zachary Payne is our grandson and joined us last year. Like myself, he was raised around construction and actually helped me and Joanne physically build our own home a couple of years ago from the ground up. I think it was that experience that led him to become a home inspector instead of a home builder. Wildcat Inspections is a family-owned and operated business, and Zachary is the third-generation professional inspector. We're proud to have him as part of it. You might not be aware of it, but there are 3 tiers of home inspection licenses. There are apprentice inspector, an inspector, and a professional inspector. Categories are based on education and experience. Everyone at Wildcat Inspections holds the professional license. Let's kind of review some of the report basics. You're probably aware that TREC sets the rules for home inspectors just as it does for real estate agents and brokers. The inspector's standards of practice dictates what the inspector shall report as a deficiency, along with many items that the inspector does not have to inspect or include in the report. TREC also requires that the inspector use specific property inspection report forms. That's a good thing because it helps kind of keep things on an even keel. Other states don't have that requirement, and home inspectors there don't always know what they're getting. As a matter of fact, Texas was the first to license home inspectors and inspection reports and to standardize the standards of practice. Inspection reports can be simple. This is an example of the required report inspection form that TREC has on their website, and the inspector can go to that website and simply download it, print it out, take it to the job, put check marks or X's in these squares, add some comments in between these blank areas between those sections, and if he can't fit it all in there, then it can be added at the end of the report on any kind of notebook paper or typed out or whatever the inspector wants to do. This is an example of a 3-part carbonless report Joanne and I used for our inspections in the early days. We simply checked the relevant boxes and filled them out by hand, marking any comments we have along the pre-printed lines. When we completed the inspection, the customer got the top copy, the realtor got the blue copy, and we kept the pink copy for our files. It should be pointed out that photos are not a requirement of TREC. You can get a report from a home inspector in Texas that's simply a 14-page report with just filled out by hand, like we mentioned earlier. So photos are up to the inspector if they want to include them and how many they want to include. Software follows every profession, and home inspection industry is no different. This is an example of a Microsoft Word-based program using templates from a company called Indepth that we used from 2000 until just recently, when it became so obsolete it was too hard to keep up with. It was very strict in its design, and like most softwares available today, kind of forced all the comments over toward the right side of the page. This is one reason that reports become longer than necessary. Even more modern software today that's available to inspectors can still be confusing to the customer. For instance, this is an example of a report by a friend of mine who uses Home Inspector Pro, called HIP. It's one of the 3 most popular systems. We purchased HIP last year, and after 3 months of using it, determined that butting all the comments together and grouping all the photos at the end of the sections did not result in the finished report we wanted for our clients. The results of a hard-to-read report are pretty predictable. It's confusion. The customer needs to be clear on what they're getting, because when the customer is unsure about any part of the home buying process, someone's getting a call. I think every inspector and realtor has had at least one of those calls. A lack of clarity can scare a home buyer and cause them to run away. That's why we at Wildcat Inspections go out of our way to educate our clients and take the fear out of home buying. So, what makes a report from Wildcat Inspections better? Well, to begin with, our reports open in your browser, making them easier to read on any device, including cell phones, pads, tablets, desktop, or laptop computers. Second, our reports are separated into 3 categories, including an overview of all deficiencies, general information, and any limitations the inspector might have incurred that prevented an inspection of areas having no access, etc. They're grouped by the tabs found at the top of each section of the report. For example, if I click on the tab labeled Information, the Information tab includes all TREC required information such as type of roof covering, depth of insulation, water pressure to the home, etc., along with any other information the inspector might want to include for extra clarity. These are not deficiencies and can often confuse the customer during review. Third, we have a searchable index. When you click on one of the section headings shown here on the left side of the window, you're quickly taken to that section. For example, clicking on the Electrical tab takes us to that section. This is another time-saving feature that means less time spent scrolling through comments and PDFs and flipping printed pages. Notice that our comments aren't all crammed together. Each of these boxes contains one inspector's comment and relevant photos. Some have one photo, some have no photos, some have multiple photos. All of this can help the customer understand the concern. Number 5, our reports headline the concern. Keywords make searching through the report faster. Clicking in the comments box opens that box. That way the entire comment is visible, making it easy to read the inspector's concern. Number 6, the photos in our reports open in the browser. For example, you click on any of these photos for a closer look. Doing so enlarges the photo to full screen, making it easy to see the inspector's concern. No more trying to see a tiny blurry photo in a PDF document. Number 7, we provide a summary filter. Filters are great. This one is accessible by one of the blue buttons on the left of the header. Clicking on that button provides a filter that removes everything except the comments related to observed deficiencies. That reduces the clutter even more, allowing the reader to concentrate on the inspector's comments, photos, and graphics. The 8th thing that Wildcat Inspection does for our clients is to rank deficiencies in importance. This is based on the inspector's own experience, so the client is still encouraged to read the entire report. Our reports have the ultimate filter. Some realtors consider this to be a good tool. You see that the blue button on the left side of the header next to the summary filter is labeled Higher Concern. Click on that tab and it takes you to the next screen that has everything removed except those concerns determined by the inspector that might be most costly, like an air conditioner that's not functioning, or a severely damaged roof, or that are safety related, such as electrical hazards. But for these filters to work, the inspector has to be willing to take chances and rank the deficiencies. Why would he not? If you answered liability, you're correct. There's a lot of liability in doing that. The customer puts his reliance on the inspector, and if the inspector makes a mistake and assumes that one of the deficiencies is not as important as another, he can get into trouble for that. The TREC standards of practice state that the inspector is not required to provide any type of special services or recommendations. In other words, the inspector is not required to tell the customer what to repair or how to repair it. The 10th thing that makes our reports different from, and we think better than, reports from most other inspectors is that we go beyond the TREC limitations, that the inspector is not required to tell the client how to make a repair. In the Pro version of our inspection report, we do just that. The example shown here is the same defect in both comments, with the basic report comment on the left and the Pro report comment on the right. The Pro report is more valuable to explain the simplicity or complexity of the repair, especially when the client is going to send the repair report to a contractor or a third-party estimator for a cost analysis. Are our reports TREC compliant? The answer is yes. Our reports meet TREC requirements. Although our reports open in your browser and have multiple filters to separate deficiencies from information that most buyers don't care about while they're reviewing the report deficiencies, you can still generate a full printable PDF version. You'll find that button for that link on the right side of the header, labeled PDF. It actually has two separate subtitles in it. The first subtitle generates a PDF version which meets the TREC requirements for a complete printed report following their rules. There's also a PDF summary available for print. That link is located along with the full report on the right side. Like the browser-based summary, All the photos and other information are removed, making it easy to read. It's also faster to copy and paste into a repair addendum. In line with T.B. Joshua's quote, "Better is not good enough, the best is yet to come," we have some features especially for realtors. We'd like to show you those. That brings us to the question you probably are most interested in. How do real estate agents and other professionals benefit from our report? You might have noticed there's a black button located at the top right corner of the window. It's labeled Report Tools. When we click on it, this button opens a box containing only the full verbiage of our observed deficiencies comments so that you can easily copy and paste into your repair addendum without leaving the browser or even opening a PDF. You have a button at the bottom of the box to select for all to copy, or you can choose to highlight any single comment or portion of a comment and copy it and paste it individually. This tool can also be filtered by clicking on the top of the drop-down box that has a title called Viewing. It's recognized by its default value, All Observations. When it opens, you now have 4 choices besides All Observations that let you customize your request by which tier you select. In our case, there's Low and/or Informational, Moderate Concern, High Concerns, and Moderate plus Higher Concerns. But wait, we're not through yet. There's more to come. The black Report Tools button at the top right corner also has the ultimate feature designed specifically for real estate professionals. Click on the link titled Repair Request Builder once, and it is open. When a Repair Request Builder opens, you can begin by customizing the document name and header located here at the top of the form. Instead of Repair Request List, you might want to call it Repair Addendum or Inspection Addendum. It's your choice, whatever you want to put there. You can use the address of the buyer's name or whatever other identifier you want here in the center of the header, and it'll show up on all the reports. Once the Repair Request feature is open, you can further filter the comments using the blue tabs on the top header, choosing from All, Moderate, and Higher, or just Higher Concerns. For example, I chose Higher Concern, and only the red tier of comments, most important, came up. Notice that the top left corner of each of the boxes has been populated with a check mark. Now you begin checking each one of these and marking the items that you want automatically added to your repair request. Once checked, a drop-down box appears giving you an option to request a credit, at which time you can enter a dollar amount or opt for a comment. The comment button opens a text box for your customized request, or you can simply click on the wrench and the words Repair Requested are automatically plugged in. Once you've made your choices and entered the repair comment or credit amount, you can customize the repair request further by scrolling back to the top and clicking on the tab called Sort Document By, where the default value before the docs opens is called Original Report Order. Other choices now include arranging by severity category, recommendations, dollar amount high to low, and dollar amount low to high. Once you've completed your custom choices, you can verify the total credit request as shown above the buttons at the top of the window. Then, by clicking one of these buttons, you can either preview or create the repair. The request PDF is generated and includes only the comments and photos that you chose. It totals the dollars and is ready to send to the seller's agent. That wraps up our presentation. I hope you were able to get something out of it. We welcome your questions and comments. These are our team members. We hope to see you soon. Our contact information. You can reach us at wildcatinspections.com, by phone at 281-484-9453, or visit us on the web at www.wildcatinspections.com. We also encourage you to catch up with us on Facebook, Instagram, and some of the other social media. We'd love to see you there. We can answer any of the questions that you have. Please feel free to give us a call.